But maybe can we start with Ben Brown? How's he at this stage?
He's progressing along okay. We're still unable to confirm whether he'll be right to play or not, but we're hopeful.
What does he have to do between now and Saturday?
He's just got to prove he can function. We'll give him up to the last minute probably to make a decision. So it's not serious enough to rule him out. So we'll give him right up until the last second to make that call.
Right, so I was going to say, what is your plan B if he doesn't get up? What kind of forward line to set up to go? Maybe just smaller, or do you bring in kind of another taller?
We've got options there. We can either bring in another tall or go smaller. We're undecided yet what we'll do. We're obviously thinking through some contingencies. Hopefully we don't have to make that call, but if we do, it's pretty simple. It'll either be a different forward structure or another tall to replace Brownie.
He's not the only one by the sounds of it. Could be a busy one for the medical staff with a few other tests on the cards. Ben Jacobs and a few others, is that right?
Yeah, but I mean, Ben's a long-term injury, so Ben won't play senior footy this week. So it's just a matter of some of our guys probably being available for the VFL this week, and we'll stagger their inclusion back into senior availability. But it's really good news that we've got probably 3, 4 or 5 guys who are pretty close to returning.
How's Scott Thompson?
Scotty's pretty good. Yeah, I think he's likely to get up, but again, we'll just he won't have to do too much today. We'll make sure that we test him Friday and see how he is.
How tempting is it to bring Sean Higgins straight back in? How far away is he from the seniors?
He'll train today, so he's on the borderline of being available. So he's a player that I think could come in and have an impact straight away. But we just, with the injury he's had, we've just got to make sure that when he's back, he's not at any risk at all. So we've been conservative to this point. His rehab's progressed really well. It's a big decision. I haven't got the answer right at the moment.
Another good game from Ed Vickers-Willis in the VFL. Is he a good chance to come in, especially with Ben Brown moving?
He plays the other end of the ground to Ben Brown, but he's been in really good form, and he's a really bright young prospect. Been knocking on the door for a few weeks, so yeah, he's certainly in the mix.
And Lockie Hansen, is he getting closer to a return?
Sorry?
Lockie Hansen, is he getting closer to a return?
Yeah, he has played well again in the VFL. And look, we did throw him forward in the VFL to look at a potential coverage for Brown. So he's got that flexibility for us. So he'll be in the mix.
Brad, you went for the real physical attack against them last time. It almost worked. Do you go it again?
I think Hawthorn have probably been the benchmark in the last decade, probably, in terms of a really confrontational physical approach, and we aim to match that and to try and replicate some of that pressure. The important thing is that you've got your mind in the right place, and that is to be really aggressive at the contest and take that confrontational attitude into the game. But we also conceded too many free kicks last time. We conceded a lot of, I think it was 4 goals, maybe 4 of their first 5 goals from free kicks. So we'd like to avoid that and still have that confrontational approach.
Jordan Lewis had a little bit of a dig yesterday saying basically that it didn't work, that the scoreboard showed at the end of the day that Hawthorn came out on top. You need to remind your players just to get that balance right and make sure that the attack is at the footy first and foremost.
Yeah, well, I mean, probably there was a one-kick game from, I think they kicked a goal on the siren, but they kicked really accurately and we kicked really poorly. So there's a lot of ways of dissecting that game. And I think if you dig just a little deeper at how that game was played, we'd certainly like a lot of the things to go the same way for us, and for us to kick a little bit straighter and Sicily to miss a couple. He did 5 straight last time. He's not going to do that this time.
He's not playing this time. So.
I'm aware of that, yeah.
Genuine sort of, I mean, you look at the last couple of games, is there genuine ill feeling or hate between the teams or a couple of players?
Oh, no, absolutely. We have nothing but admiration for Hawthorn, and if you don't have admiration for Hawthorn, you're kidding yourself, really. I mean, what they've been able to achieve over a long period of time should be held up on a pedestal for every other club to try and emulate. So, no, we've got nothing but admiration, but it doesn't mean we're not fierce competitors. I mean, we want to take on the best and show our wares. But to suggest that there's hatred or animosity between the clubs is just not true. Not from our end, anyway.
Do we read a bit too much into the fact that Marcus Bontempelli didn't receive any votes from your end of the coaches' votes?
How do you know that?
fairly widely reported that you gave him a bit of a snub, even though he played pretty well. As we read too much into that, there was a fair bit of talk about long memories from the players.
I thought those votes were confidential.
Did you give him a vote?
They're confidential, I can't tell. Look, what I can say, I'm not going to detail, because they are confidential, I'm not going to detail who I gave votes to and who I didn't. But, I mean, it was a 14-point game. Our midfield, more clearances, more contested possessions. We thought our midfield was okay, but we thought the Bulldogs' defenders were exceptional. And so you don't have to be too smart to work out where we apportioned our votes. Bontempelli was good, but there were 9 players who got votes, so that suggests that it's pretty even spread of players who got votes. So to suggest there was a snub is just so far off the mark, it's laughable.
So much talk about the jigsaw of you guys sitting in 8th, obviously Saints and Port as well. Are you comfortable with the fact that really destiny's in your own hands? If you win games, you play finals. If you don't, you're a chance to miss.
Yeah, I think that it's probably more for other people to talk about, the composition of the ladder. I think that we're certainly preparing ourselves looking forward. We're looking at what's in front of us and certainly not looking over our shoulder at what's happening behind us. So, as we have been the last couple of years, we're not looking to make up the numbers, we're looking to make a significant impact. And so our focus is on playing the type of footy that's going to enable us to have an impact in September. Now, if we're able to do that in the next 3 weeks, then the rest will take care of itself.
Just another quick one on the coaches' votes. You mentioned confidentiality quite a few times there. Does it frustrate you that obviously that hasn't been the case this time?
Oh no, I'm just stating a fact, because someone either made it up and it's wrong, or there's been a breach. But it's not a big issue. I mean, it's a tiny issue in the scheme of things, but if you dig a little bit deeper, you'll work it out. That's all I'll say.
Do you think it's much of a disadvantage having not played at the G?
No, we actually would like to play at the G more, no doubt. Our first game for the year at the MCG, but we've played a lot of finals there in the last few years. We really enjoy the venue. I think it suits the way we play. So all the guys are really looking forward to getting back out there, and they've loved the finals there the last couple of years, and they're really looking forward to getting out there at the home of footy this week.
Does the extra space help your forward line?
Oh, potentially, but Hawthorn defend really well as well. So I think it's the ground, I think, does suit us, but I don't think it's a massive issue. It's not in the top 10 list of priorities in terms of what we need to do to focus on the dimensions of the ground.
Are you extra wary of the Hawks, given what happened to them last week, that they might be smarting a little bit from a loss like that?
No, we're always wary of them.
As you touched on that you still want to make an impact in September, has your belief been shaken at all, I guess, A, by the results you've had since the midpoint of the season, and B, by the injuries, that you can make that impact still?
I think every season injuries have an impact to a certain extent. Now, as clubs and coaches, you try and probably move past that, because you very quickly focus on the 22 you've got available. And I think the 22 that we've had available is capable. Sure, like every club, we'd like our really good players back and fit and firing. And we're getting close to that, where we're getting some guys back. But in terms of the way we play, we've been really disappointed with some aspects of our game, but it hasn't shaken our belief, because we're capable of doing it. We just haven't been able to execute it to our liking. So I firmly believe that you can turn those things around really quickly, and proof will be in the pudding in the next 7 or 8 weeks.